The following program is rated G and is suitable for viewing by all ages.
I grew up playing hockey. Every weekend I'd go down to the rink, I'd play with my friends for a couple hours. It was a nice break from the seriousness of life, and it still is to this day. One of the first things that made me feel at home here in Red Deer, I moved here back in 2018, was when I found a group of guys I could just play hockey with once a week.
I realized too pretty quickly after I moved here how important sports were in people's lives in the city. So we knew, making an episode for this documentary, we could not do one without talking about sports and how it impacts people's lives. Whether it's curling, basketball, skiing at the local hill, pickleball, or something else, there are plenty of opportunities for people of all ages to participate in the sport of their choosing.
Red Deer's even the home of the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame. We sat down with Dale Henwood, board chair of the Hall of Fame, to discuss the role sports play in Red Deer.
With a master's in physical education from the University of Alberta, many years of hockey coaching experience, and 6 years of service with the Alberta Amateur Hockey Association, Henwood is a highly motivated person. He says his time with the Alberta Amateur Hockey Association has been rewarding. However, he says his position with the Alberta Sport Council will be a good career move. He adds his involvement in the national hockey program will continue.
We could just go right to the beginning as to the setting of where we are. Would you mind describing a little bit the history of the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame?
Yeah, so it started more than 60 years ago and really just set up to try and recognize and celebrate Albertans that have done, made our province proud, I guess, based on their sport achievements or their sport accomplishments. And so many years ago, a group just thought that it would be good to kind of put up a permanent place to recognize and celebrate their accomplishments.
Yeah, why particularly in the Red Deer County or right outside Red Deer area?
Well, originally we didn't have this building until maybe 20 some years ago, but in the late 90s, early 90s, I guess, the group looked to try and see if we could find a permanent home, and Red Deer was a group that was very interested in helping us do some fundraising and construct a building. The city gave some land, or rented some land, I guess is what it is. So for the last 20 years, we've been located in Red Deer.
Seems that Red Deer had a nice connection to the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame to want it here. What would you say, how important is sports in Red Deer?
Well, I think sport, to all of us, is critically important. I think from a mental and physical standpoint, it's just very critical. But I'm originally from Red Deer and was very involved in sport in Red Deer. Through the recreation department, they always had lots of different activities for us as we were growing up, whether that was football or lacrosse or hockey or softball, baseball. I think so when you look at some of the events that they've held, again, I look at the Canada Games as a recent big event, but they've held the Alberta Winter Games, the Alberta Summer Games. I think they've hosted lots of provincial championships here. So I would say absolutely they have a real affinity to sport. I think sport is critical for the establishment of community. You're getting people, again, from all different avenues of life or walks of life together. They're playing, especially on a team, they're playing together with a common cause or common purpose. But I think it just develops, and it can develop a lot of skills and also expose and develop a lot of character in people and a lot of skills that you need later on in life from a business standpoint, or just to get along in life, just to get along with other people. The relationships in particular, I think, are critically important. But I think when you've had a good experience, you're likely going to continue to play. And so there's many sports where you continue to play well into your senior years. And I think that's great for our physical and mental well-being. We try and, through the Hall of Fame, try and acknowledge the ability. We don't necessarily look at the disability. So trying to look at athletes or coaches or those that have committed tremendous amounts to the community. So regardless of where they're from, what kind of sport it is. We're just trying to recognize all of those that have pursued excellence, that have achieved great things and brought good recognition to the city or the province or the country.
You were saying you were a coach as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what are some of the experiences that you can think back of when you were a coach? Maybe some life-changing experiences for people that you've helped?
Well, first of all, in Red Deer, I just remember lots of great coaches. There's coaches that when I was a real young kid really had an impact in terms of helping me get better in the sport, but most importantly, just enjoy the time that we were had. And so I think if you see yourself getting better, and if you're enjoying it, you're more likely to continue to participate. And I think that's really what's important. We need to get people to stay active for a much longer period of time, hopefully throughout their life.
We wanted to sit down and chat with a coach about why they wanted to get involved with youth sports. We went behind the bench with a Red Deer pond hockey team at their final game of the season. The league has 470 male and female players between 5 and 17 years old, comprising 30 teams. There are 90 coaches who volunteer 2 hours a week to help the kids.
I've been a coach or assistant coach for probably 5 or 6 years with Red Deer Pond Hockey.
How'd you get involved?
Growing up, my parents were both really involved in the community. Particularly, my mom was involved with a lot of volunteer opportunities. So when my son started playing pond hockey, it was kind of a natural thing to try to see how I could help him. I enjoy seeing the kids have a good time. I enjoy seeing them kind of come into the room and at the beginning of the year and gel together as a team, just a group of people that you throw together. And seeing them kind of develop confidence and mature. If someone scores a goal that doesn't normally score goals, I just love the feeling of pride that comes off their face.
Being a volunteer, is it hard to ever find the time to volunteer to do this kind of thing?
I don't find it hard to find the time. No, I'm coming here with my son anyway, and even though the coaches get a lot more of the face time, the face of the team, there's so many volunteers in the background, like Red Deer Pond Hockey in particular. There's the board and team manager. There's jersey parents and parents to help out on the bench, parents to help out on their practices, and scorekeepers. So the coaches kind of are the ones that you see, but there's so many people helping that really it's just a matter of showing up and making sure everyone has a good time.
My family is a really busy one. And so with 4 kids, pond hockey is just the right speed for us. I love the culture of pond hockey. It's really supportive. You will hear parents cheering in the stands for the goalies, even on the other team. And it's always a celebration as we watch the kids progress through the season.
It's been a fantastic program for us. I can't say enough about it. It's I just love the philosophy where everyone gets to come out and be part of a team. And team sports, I believe, have a lot to teach people and young individuals. So I really love that pond hockey allows kids to be part of that without a lot of the pressure and expense of some of the other ways to play the game.
Oh, we've had such great coaches over the years at pond hockey. My husband was a coach for several years, and then we've just gotten to know some really great families. There are some coaches we've been with for a couple of seasons, and then every fall it's just exciting to see who's on your team, or you might play against the coaches that coached you in earlier times, and then it's always a reunion for the parents in the stands.
I hope to have a good time, kind of first and foremost, in a safe, supportive environment. And I really hope that they leave the game or the practice feeling good about themselves is kind of my role. I know that, I try to keep in my mind that growing up can be tough for kids. It's not always an easy experience, and you never really know kind of what they're dealing with outside of hockey. So if all we do is just give them an hour every week to pretend that they're Connor McDavid, then that's great.
How long have you been in Red Deer?
It's my 10th season.
What do you like about it?
Just that it's not hit. You don't got to worry about getting blown out, or it's not super competitive, and it's just fun. You see the range is still, it's not like, every team has that one really good player. Every team has that range of skill levels.
Tell me a bit about your coaches, how they help you as a player and as a person?
When they can sense that we're getting frustrated or upset, they will tell us to kind of calm down and tell us what we need to work on. And if we're down by a couple goals, they don't get mad at us. They just tell us how to fix that.
Awesome, man. That's all we got. Thank you. Appreciate it. Back out there.
Why did you start Red Deer Pond Hockey?
We lost our son to suicide in 2019. And he loved playing hockey. He had severe hemophilia, so he could only play in Red Deer minor hockey until the age of 10. And he couldn't play hit hockey. So that's when we decided to start a league for kids like Alex and for Alex himself. So he was the first player in the league, and he loved playing, he loved coaching in Red Deer minor. Yeah, it was his space. He loved playing hockey.
Tell me a bit about the growth of the league over the years. How have you seen it?
Holy smokes, yeah. I can't remember, I think we had 30 players with the first team, or the first league. Put ads up in the paper, and we thought we better start when we had 30. That seemed like a really good number for us, and yeah, it's just growing every year.
It's amazing. It's unreal. It's you know, the value of this rink is over $50,000 that they're putting into the Red Deer Pond Hockey League, and again, for our kids and players, it's over the top. We're all thrilled and excited.
After the Ennises lost their son to suicide, they started the Team Alex Suicide Prevention Society. This organization provides training to coaches to help them build self-esteem within their locker room by improving and supporting the mental health of their players.
So again, because of Al's love for hockey, we decided to do training for minor sports coaches in not just hockey, but all sports. So, and because coaches, you know, are sometimes the most trusted and respected person in a kid's life. We don't know what goes on in their home life, but they could be the most trusted. So we thought coaches were the ideal channel for them to get suicide information and mental health training.
Why is this such an important initiative to be there for?
For so many reasons. Number one, I mean, we just want to honor Alex, and so every day that's what keeps us going is that this is Al's, and so we want to honor him. But just the fact that youth suicide is just so huge right now, and especially in sports.
And just kind of generally speaking, you living here, sports in the community, you know, how important are sports to Red Deer, do you feel?
Huge. Yeah, it's a sports community. It's a big sports community. Yeah, I think they're all bring value to the community. I think they all do well because there is a need for it. So yeah, I think, and again, we're hoping to address and connect with all those other leagues, not just in Red Deer and not just in Alberta, but beyond. Our vision is a world without suicide, so we're not going to stop just in this community with our training.
I noticed in Red Deer that everyone has a sport that they play. It's a very inclusive sporting community.
Special Olympics, for example, has been in the community for about 40 years. It's a volunteer-run organization providing sporting opportunities for people of all ages with intellectual disabilities. In Red Deer, Special Olympics offers 13 different sports.
Jerry Tennant has been involved since day one.
I'm the chairman of the Affiliate Management Committee with Special Olympics Red Deer, and also a board member of the Provincial Association, Special Olympics Alberta.
What's interesting, we saw you back at Festival of Trees, so obviously you give back to the community in different ways. Where does that come from?
Well, it probably started with my parents, who were really involved in our community. I grew up in Stettler. My mom was in the local ladies organization of the church. I was in Scouts. My parents were involved in the Scouting movement. My dad was involved in things like the community band and a couple of service clubs. My first real involvement was in the Scout movement, which I'm still involved in some ways, not as much as I used to be. So that's been about 70 some years that I've been involved either as a youth or an adult with the Scouting movement, and it just continued from there. And then once you become known in the volunteer community, then people are at your door saying, gee, we could sure use you to do this. And as my wife says, I have trouble saying no.
But Association President Jerry Tennant says they'd like to reach this year's goal of $30,000.
Hopefully we'll make it. Last year we made over $20,000 in the business campaign, and we reached our goal in the residential campaign. So we're hoping there was a little upswing in the economy and some very enthusiastic volunteers that we will make our goal.
Who puts this on every year? I know that the Recreation and Culture Department is heavily involved in it. Who else is involved with you?
This is the first year for this particular event. It's ourselves, the Red Deer District Museum, and of course the big partner is the Town Centre Association. And the Advocate is involved, as well as CKGY Radio.
All right, sounds good. So 7 o'clock tonight?
7 o'clock tonight here at the Heritage Square Christmas Village.
So grab the blankets, there's lots of blankets. If you want an extra one for a pillow or something, we can arrange that.
Back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, there were individuals from what was then the Parkland School, which is still around, the students from Central Elementary School and Middle School, where all of those with intellectual disabilities went to school, and Michener Center. And they got together to have competitions in bowling, track and field, and swimming. And then from there, in the early 1980s, 1981, when Special Olympics started in Alberta, the group in Red Deer joined as a local affiliate. So it's been, Special Olympics has been in Red Deer as Special Olympics since 1981.
And how long have you been involved with the organization?
Since 1981. This is my 42nd year that I've been involved. And Red Deer sending 55 athletes and 15 coaches. We're going to compete in 5 sports, 5 and 10 pin bowling, swimming, softball, and track and field.
How did you first get involved?
Well, I worked for the city recreation department, and my job was an athletics program supervisor. And one of my roles was to be a liaison with all of the sporting groups in the city, including Special Olympics. So I started meeting with their executive and their affiliate management committee, went to some of their meetings, became interested in the ideals and mission statement of the organization and how they really were organized and worked well to provide programs to individuals with an intellectual disability. And I guess I just stayed around and joined the committee, and I've been the chairman since 1993.
How important is the organization to the athletes?
For the athletes, for many of them, it's their entire life. It's their sporting life, it's their social life. We have had athletes that, of course, have developed relationships through Special Olympics, boyfriends, girlfriends, and we've even had some that have met their husbands or wives and have been married as a result of meeting at Special Olympics. But during COVID, it was really tough on them, and from that we realized just how important Special Olympics was and is to the athletes.
How important is inclusivity in sports?
Good question. We think it's really important. Going back a few years, at one time, quite a number of years ago, as you may remember, there was a big move for getting inclusivity in the schools, moving the athletes out of group homes into the community, or out of Michener Center and places like that into the community. At one time, Special Olympics was almost frowned upon by some parents because it segregated their children. They wanted to be included in the mainstream. After a while, they realized that there was a place for us in terms of developing the young people and the children because we work in what we call ability groups, not age groups. So everyone's ability is taken into consideration, and we develop the programs around that. To give you an example, and I use this example a lot, anytime I talk to an organization of how Special Olympics operates. As I mentioned, we don't operate in age groups. We operate in ability groups. So you could be 15 or 50 and you compete against each other, whether it's in swimming because you can swim the length of the pool about the same time, in track and field because you can run the 100-yard dash about the same time, in bowling because you have a similar average. And the story I always like to tell is about Rosa. Rosa was a 10-pin bowler, probably not the best bowler. In fact, maybe her average was probably the lowest. Rosa went to the provincial summer games quite a number of years ago. And she was able to go because we can take almost anybody to those games. We're given a quota, but Rosa was able to go. She bowled way above her average at the provincial games, and Rosa was named to Team Alberta to go to the national games. She went to the national games, she bowled way above her average. She was named on Team Canada to go to the international games in Shanghai, China. In generic sports, Rosa would never have that opportunity. But because of the ability group way that we choose the people that go to these national, international competitions, it could be the person in the lowest ability group or the highest ability group. But they all have an opportunity to go. And that's what's special about Special Olympics. It's just not the best of the best. It's anyone has an opportunity to move up, to succeed, and to be involved at a higher level.
What's kept you involved with the organization?
Oh, there are a number of things. Just as I say, the ideals of the program to offer sporting and social programs to individuals with an intellectual disability, working with that marginalized community. The athletes, who are just such wonderful people to work with and be associated with and to help provide programs for. And then of course the volunteers. We have tremendous volunteers in the Red Deer organization. Some have been involved almost as long as I have, some are new, but they're all there for the right reason. Again, to provide these programs for those who need it.
Your position, is it a volunteer position?
Strictly volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah. We're all volunteers. We don't have, we have between 50 and 60 volunteers. No staff. Some of the larger affiliates, Calgary and Edmonton, do have staff just because of their numbers. But we have probably close to 300 athletes, so we're the third largest affiliate in the province. Without the volunteers, there wouldn't be any Special Olympics. And that's it throughout the province. We have programs in about 20, 25 different communities, but our athletes come from throughout central Alberta. And without Special Olympics, they wouldn't have as much to do. But the volunteers, of course, there are coaches, there are administrators, they are on the affiliate management committee, there are fundraisers. Some of our volunteers have children in, have siblings in, and so that's their motive for being involved. But a lot of our volunteers, just because the same thing as I am, they appreciate the way the program works and the ideals of the program, and so they get involved and they stay involved.
Sports can really bring a community together, whether it's cheering for a team or coming together for an event like the Canada Winter Games. Red Deer has proven athletics can make an impact physically, emotionally, socially on everyone's life. For me, besides playing the typical Italian soccer as a kid, I really found my sport when I started boxing in college. It was a way to not only stay physically active, but relieve stress, anger, and make new friends. Coming to Red Deer, I signed up within my first week to a kickboxing class, similar but different from boxing, and not only met cool people and an awesome coach, but it made the city feel more like home.
And I feel like a total badass.